Okay, it's officially 6 p.m. Eastern. I would like to welcome everybody to the Prep Net with Montana Jim as our host and me, Red Bear, as your net control. If you would like to register for the net, please come one at a time and let me finish with the last caller before you call. If you would like to monitor, that's fine during registration if you would. Please just let us know that you are monitoring only. At this time, can I take the first caller that would like to get registered?
Big Daddy Dave in Southwest Missouri. What's going on, Corey?
Right there, this is 79.
Hey, Dave, I got you down in Missouri. Glad you're here, brother. Welcome in, welcome in. Alberto, I seen you in there. What state are you in?
California, right there, California.
Yes, sir, Alberto. We got you down in California, and welcome in, sir. Glad to have you here. Next person would like to register for the net. Please go ahead.
Yeah, this is Matt 6, Matt Splash, Matt whatever, in Tennessee. I'm here. What's up, Red Bear and Montana Jim?
Welcome in, Matt. Welcome in. We got you down, brother. We got you down in Tennessee. Awesome. Next caller that would like to get registered for the net, please go ahead.
Good evening, Donna in Montana checking in.
Hey, Donna, I kind of cheated. I already got you down. Welcome in, dear. Welcome in. Next caller that'd like to register, please go ahead.
DC, California.
ATC, we got you down there in South Louisiana. Welcome in. And sounds like you're bringing the wind in with you, brother. Be careful out there. Next caller that would like to register for the net, please go ahead. Okay, we're going to push a little bit tonight. If you're sitting in the background and you usually only monitor, we're going to request and see if we can get you up here tonight. Can we get you to register and let us know you're monitoring only? That'd be fine too. Come on in and join us. If you want to monitor, please go ahead and register now.
Slingshot from Rustburg, Virginia. I'm monitoring only. Thank you.
Copy that, Slingshot. We got you down monitoring. Welcome in. Appreciate you, brother. We will not bother you anymore. Please enjoy the net. Thank you very much. Do we have anybody else that would like to register tonight? Even if you are monitoring, please go ahead.
Well, how is your
Dennis, just monitoring.
Hey, Dennis, welcome in. We got you down monitoring as well. We won't bother you either. Thank you very much, sir. Do we have anybody else that would like to register? Excuse me. Do we have anybody else that would like to register? Please go ahead.
Hey, Red Bear, it's Dave. I'm going to have to monitor tonight. I was helping my wife with some stuff.
Copy that, Dave. We'll just scribble you down on that side of the fence. Not a problem, brother. Not a problem. Okay, we'll do one last quick check. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net? Please go ahead. Okay, at this time then, Jim, if you're ready, we're going to go ahead and we're going to toss that mic over in your lap, sir. Welcome on in. Glad to have you here.
Good, thank you, Red Bear, and welcome everybody. Appreciate you checking in and monitoring back there. Anyway, we had a good roundtable last week. So before we start this week's topic, I wanted to recount some of last week's roundtable. One item that was brought up was, and our topic was about water, was a bathtub bladder to store emergency water in. You place these bladders in your bathtub, and when you hear that there's a problem coming, you fill it with water. These bladders hold between 50 to over 100 gallons of water. For those who do not have a lot of storage space, the bladders might be a good ticket there. Now, these bladders are not for long-term storage. You know, only use them when you hear, there's a storm coming in or a pending emergency, and only use them for them, not for long-term. So let me break. Okay, the second item was a chlorine generator. Now, chlorine generators make chlorine from water, salt, and electric current. When you then use this solution to purify your drinking water. I was going to bring this up in our last week's topic on purifying water, but the system that I have was not available for purchase as mine were when I got them many years ago. However, there is one available from aquaresearch.com that you might want to look into. This way you don't need to keep a lot of unscented bleach on hand and need to rotate it to keep them fresh. You can make your chlorine disinfect it as you need it. And I'm getting one of these things, even though I have a chlorine machine. I have added links to some bathtub bladders and chlorine generator in the video description of last week's expanded presentation. That's the 09B Water Part 2 expanded presentation. Check them out. Break. A couple of other points that we discussed was to be sure to not add too much of any water purifying chemical to your water, as you can use too much, which can cause you harm. Follow any directions carefully. If a little bit is good, it doesn't mean that a lot is better. The point was also made for those who live in colder climates to be sure to store your emergency water in a non-freezing location. It's a pain to have to thaw your water out. It takes time and it takes heat fueling to do so, which you might not have a lot of. As I've stated before, we all have something to help each other with, and this is an example of that, so please share your knowledge. Now on to tonight's topic. Break. We're starting a new topic, shelter types for preppers. Part 1. When we talk about shelter in a preparedness context, we're not just talking about a roof over your head. We're talking about protection from weather, security from threats, and sustainability over time. We'll break shelter down into practical categories you can actually use and plan around. Before continuing, answer these questions. What is your primary shelter plan? Bug in or bug out? Do you have a secondary location identified? Have you practiced setting up your temporary shelter gear? And what is your biggest shelter weakness right now? Break. Let's start with the most overlooked but most important shelter, your current home. In most scenarios, staying put, also known as bugging in, is the safest and most realistic option. Advantages include a familiar layout and surroundings, existing supplies and infrastructure on hand, and better physical security compared to improvised shelters. You might consider upgrades such as reinforcing doors and windows, adding backup electricity, heating, and cooling, planning for alternative cooking methods, and ensuring adequate water storage and sanitation. The takeaway, your home should be your first and strongest line of shelter, not a last resort. Break. If plugging in isn't feasible, consider these options. Sometimes staying isn't an option. That's where bug out shelters come in. These are temporary or secondary locations you relocate to during emergencies. There are several types you should think about. One is a designated retreat location. This could be a cabin, rural property, or a trusted friend or family member's home. Great. This option is more secure than improvised shelters and can be pre-stocked with essentials such as water, non-perishable food, medical supplies, clothing, bedding, tools, fuel, communications gear, and sanitation items, so it's ready when you arrive. However, it requires travel and may not be accessible in fast-moving emergencies, where events like wildfires, flash floods, or civil unrest can block roads, limit fuel, or leave insufficient time to reach that location. Right. A vehicle-based shelter, your car, truck, or RV, offers mobility and fast deployment, but is limited by fuel, road access, and vulnerability if disabled. Remember, the more space people take up, the less supplies you can carry. If you don't have a structure available, in a worst-case situation, you may need to rely on improvised outdoor shelters. Examples include tarp shelters and debris huts. Great. Tarp shelters are lightweight and versatile, made using tarp and a cordage. They can be configured in multiple ways, such as lean-tos, A-frames, or plow point setups, depending on terrain and weather. They are quick to deploy and highly portable, but require practice and good site selection to provide effective protection from wind and rain. Now, a plow point setup is a fast, low-profile shelter. It uses one corner secured high and the opposite edge staked low to shield wind and rain effectively. Great. Debris huts are primitive shelters built from a ridgepole, branches, and thick layers of natural debris like leaves or pine needles. They are designed to trap body heat and block wind, but require time and effort to build properly. These can be built almost anywhere, but they are labor-intensive and offer lower protection. A key takeaway, bug-out shelters require planning ahead. Don't assume you'll figure it out under stress. Great. Temporary shelters bridge the gap between mobility and stability. Examples include tents and emergency bivy sacks. Tents can hold one to many people depending on their size, where a bivy sack is for one person only. Now, bivy sack is a compact, lightweight, sleeping bag style shelter designed for rapid deployment in emergencies. They are typically made from reflective or waterproof materials that help retain body heat and protect against wind and rain. They are ideal for short-term survival and take up very little space in a pack, but can be cramped and offer limited comfort for extended use. Great. These are essential for short-term situations like sudden evacuations, being stranded, or overnight exposures. What matters most is weather resistance, ease of setup, and weight and portability. The takeaway, if it takes you 30 minutes to figure out how to set it up, it's too complicated. Please watch the expanded presentation on our YouTube channel for a better understanding and more information on this topic at youtube.com/@prepnet-talk2me, where we have lean-to, A-frame, plow point, debris hut, and bivy sack pictures. Break. Next week, we'll finish talking about shelter. Now, if you have any questions about what we've discussed here or anything about prepping, please ask during the roundtable, or you can send your questions to prepnetch14@gmail.com and enter question in the subject line. And we'll try and answer it and get back to you. With that, I'll turn it back to Net Control.
Copy that. Thanks a lot, Jim. Really appreciate all that information. I've actually got a lot of notes and a lot of things to look at. So, I do have one quick question before we get things rolling again. The Bivy Sack. Could you share a link maybe somewhere that we could possibly buy a Bivy Sack or get a couple of them over on the group me page there?
Yeah, I can probably look for one. I have a bivy sack. We call it a mummy bag. It's a military mummy bag filled with down. It's not waterproof like what I explained. They're very warm, but they are very cramped. They're not like a normal sleeping bag. But yeah, if you want, I'll try and do that. And again, do check out our expanded presentation video descriptions because there may be some things in there, but I do not think I put bivy sacks. But yeah, I'll try and do that for you.
Okay, thank you very much. And I wrote this down, so I'm going to be doing a little bit of research and looking myself. So, real quick though, before we move on, do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net tonight? Please go ahead. All right, we're going to go ahead and move on to Donna in Montana. Donna, how are you doing tonight? How's the last week been going for you?
Been doing pretty good. Keeping busy. Hope things are going well for you. I have just a comment to make about storing things, especially like soft items like blankets and pillows. You're going to store them for, to save for future use. Just make sure you put them in something that is critter proof because we have a lot of mice that like to get into things around here.
One thing that I've found that I like is you can get bigger bags that you can hook up to your vacuum hose, and you can actually suck all the air out of those bags and compress your blankets, your pillows, stuff like that. Even if you want to store some clothes for emergencies, So that's a very good possibility. Your blankets and your pillows, they get sucked right down to nothing in these bags. They take up half, if not less than half the space that they would normally take up. It's amazing. These bags are amazing.
Yeah, I've seen those bags and they're available pretty much everywhere, Walmart and other such places. So yeah, they're quite handy.
They definitely are. They definitely are. So do you have any more questions or comments tonight, Donna?
No, not at this time. I'm good.
All right. Like I said earlier, always a pleasure. Glad to have you here. So we're going to move on down to Alberto in California. Hey, Alberto, how's the last week been going for you, boss? How's things going for you? We'll try one more time for 719 Alberto in California. Alberto, are you still with us, boss? All right, we'll go ahead and continue on. We got Matt in Tennessee. Hey, Matt, how about you? You got any questions, comments tonight? And also, how's the last week been going for you, man? Matt 6, are you still with us, boss?
Sorry, I kind of cut out on me. Sorry, I missed a little bit of that Red Bear, but if you're saying about my week or whatever, it's been good. Been busy working. But yeah, I'm here. Couple things I guess I can comment. Um, you know, Jim covered a lot of stuff for sure. Trying to see what I can add to that. I mean, my basement, I have a certain corner picked out as like my tornado slash emergency slash, you know, bug in area, And another thing to add, we do have like survival kits. We got like Ready Wise food storage. We got water, all that. We even have gas masks. Might be a good topic too, but let me unkey real quick. I know, like, if you're looking at any of those, like, some of them underground bunkers, I think, like, Vivos, or there's quite a few different companies. They get a little costly. For me, if I was going to do that route, I mean, I might do something myself, like a storage container. You can usually buy them pretty cheap and get you a backhoe or a track hoe and dig it down and, seal it up and do ventilation and all that and, electrify it, get some electricity down there. But yeah, I was actually doing a part of a PrepNet last night on another platform. Thanks to you guys, kind of partially because listen to you guys a lot because I am myself. But I guess just being prepared. Let me key real quick. Just being ready and having a plan. Tell your family the plan. If it's not, it could be a tornado. It could be, some really bad stuff happening around you. And you gotta dip out. Best to have a plan, and your shelter should be covered. It should cover you as the best you can. If it's something like a lean-to or whatever, that's all you can get to or all you can do. But if you have, like me, I have three of my walls are surrounded by dirt, all block and brick and all that, and we're ready. Food, water supplies, protection. Medical, first aid kits, supply kits. I mean, all these things are important in your shelter. And it's best to have one either in your house, that's your first resort, or at least have something if you have to bug out, have a setup where you can actually do that. It doesn't hurt to have some, I don't know, portable tents, things like that, certain other kinds of form of shelter if you really have to get out, even if it's a case of fire or something. But that's pretty much all I got. But thank you, Jim and Red Bear. Appreciate you guys.
Hey, copy that, Matt. Copy that. Let me ask you a quick question. You brought something up in there in all that, too, that piqued an interest. You said you've got gas masks, correct?
Yes, sir. We have two. I should probably have four just for the kids, but I probably have to buy a smaller size. But yeah, I have their removable charcoal canisters, single canisters. It's all the way rated up for nuclear fallout and all in between.
Okay. Would you be interested in hosting a net about gas masks? Maybe pulling some information together for us and doing a presentation?
Yeah. Let me think about it because I gotta remember. It's been years. I've had them for 5, 6 years now. I'm actually looking at one right now. I gotta see where I bought them. But yeah, I mean, I can help out with that one way or another because it's not a bad thing to have in general. I mean, don't even worry about nuclear fallout, but like, say there's other chemical agents or whatever have you. It's not a bad thing to have. I initially got two because that was right when the kids were about to be born. So one for me, one for the wife, because it's adult size. But they do have smaller sizes as well. But yeah, I can try to help out with that one way or another.
Okay, copy that. When you're starting to get that all geared up, when we start moving forward with that, definitely shoot us an email and Jim will get a hold of you on that. We'll start helping you out. So, and if I can do anything on the sidelines as well, let me know. Appreciate that, Matt. And thanks for all the information there too as well. Yeah, good information. Appreciate it. We're going to check though. Do we have anybody else at this time that would like to register for the net? Please go ahead. Okay, we're going to move on down to TC in South Louisiana. TC, how you doing tonight, brother?
I'm good. Checking real quick. Can you hear me? There's a lot of wind right here.
Oh, yeah, we got you coming in loud and clear over here. We got the wind in the background. Just don't let it blow you away, buddy.
Yeah, but it was good topic tonight. I really enjoyed it, hearing about shelter, because we talk about food, water, electricity. So where are we going to put all this food, water, electricity? I think that's a great way to follow up with previous topics. And I liked everything there was to talk about. I really don't have any extra comments or questions or anything to add on to that. But it's a really good topic.
Okay, copy that. And just for everybody on here that may be newer monitoring that is not registered or what have you, TC actually presented a topic and taught us how to make tallow soap, and we do have that up as well on the YouTube channel, and it's got its own expanded presentation. So if you want to check that out, that's on the YouTube channel. YouTube channel is at PrepNet-Talk2Me. The word talk, the number 2 me. So you can find that there. The full net on making tallow soap with the expanded presentation. Let me do a short break here. Well, Jim, I'm going to throw it back to you to see if you've got any comments or any questions so far tonight with our current conversations.
Well, anybody that monitors this knows I can't keep my mouth shut. So we'll go with Donna. I definitely have to agree. We've been doing some major cleanup around here in the basement, and which is less of an issue, but out in the garage. And yeah, you need to critter proof anything that is going to be damaged by the little 4-footed long-tailed furry guys. You do need to make sure you have them in, preferably more than a plastic bag. Now, the vacuum bag thing is good because it can reduce the size, but you would need actually to put that inside of a plastic sealed tote because those little suckers will eat through things. But yeah, that's definitely a good thing to think about. So let me break here and go down my list. Okay, we're gonna go to a Matt there. Just to let everybody know, but since Matt brought it up here, planning. A bunch of our first nets when we started this whole thing is on planning, and that's literally you need to plan whatever it is before you even buy anything because you need to know what to buy, and everybody's plan is going to be different. And this is one of our horses that I beat to death is the things that you have to deal with are going to be different than the things I have to deal with. So everybody has to have a plan. In fact, you have to have multiple plans for different situations. So just thought I'd go ahead and throw that out there. So let me break code. Okay, Matt also talked about gas masks. Do realize that the filters for the gas masks do have a shelf life. Just be aware of that. Look at what the shelf life is. And again, different canisters or filters will protect against different things. But a point I wanted to bring up, so there's not a misconception. A gas mask or a respirator can filter out bad stuff, but it does not create oxygen. So it does not take the place of an SCBA, which is a self-contained breathing apparatus, which us firefighters use, which provides air for us. We don't filter out any of the bad things. It just provides supplemental air. So just so somebody doesn't misinterpret that a gas mask I can go into a burning building with a gas mask and I'll be fine. No, you're probably going to die because it will not be providing your body with sufficient oxygen. And let me break again. And Matt did talk about underground bunkers in our second part of shelter, which will be the last one. We only have 2 parts per shelter. We do mention bunkers. They're good sides, they're bad sides. One of the bad sides is they are expensive and everything, and even some, a couple of pictures. So I just thought I'd throw that out there. And Red Bear mentioned about taking notes. Okay, yes, absolutely take notes. But if you go onto the YouTube channel and look in the video description of the expanded presentation, I have created a PDF of that presentation. So all of the pictures and everything are there. All of the information is there, everything verbal. So you would, if you can't take notes fast enough, that's definitely one of the ways to do it. I can't think of anything else, so I'll throw it back to Red Bear.
Thanks a lot, Jim. Yeah, I actually got a couple things off of your comments there too. So starting off with the different scenarios, different reasons and all that, why we prep. While we're going through all these presentations, what we need to realize and what we need to take from this, Jim is giving us the presentations and setting us up and giving us advice and things like that. Some of the things that he mentioned may not work for your specific needs or your specific situation. You can always adapt and take from Jim what would work for you and bring something else in and replace what won't work. So it isn't just a different scenario that you're planning for, it's different situations, and also for yourself and the people around you if you have people around you. So different people as well. So we have to keep that in mind. Let me break real quick. Also with note taking, I'm just scribbling things down for when I go to the YouTube channel. I have specifics of what I would like to look for and get more information on. So that's why I do that. I just scribble things down really quickly throughout the night, throughout the net on things that interest me. So yeah, that works out really well. When I go back to YouTube, I know what I'm looking for. So, all right. I'm going to check here. Do we have anybody else that would like to register for the net tonight? Please go ahead. Okay, then we're going to move on. And for everybody that did register, if we have any other comments, questions, the floor is yours. Please go ahead and bring us your comments and questions.
Montana, I actually have a suggestion for another topic. I think you called them. If you'd like to hear that now or after the net.
No, go ahead.
So I was thinking about how we talk about water, electricity, food, shelter, all that stuff. So you might want to maybe try to block this wind. Do a topic about evacuation plans. Like say for example, your house is on fire, and nobody in that house has a plan on how to get out, other ways to get out, where they're going to meet, what to do if somebody is critically burned, all that stuff. But it can go from flash floods, hurricanes, tornadoes, all that kind of stuff. That was just something I was thinking about. You might want to consider.
Okay, that might be a good one. We sort of covered not as specific as that of just plan for all this stuff, but maybe bringing some things up that I like your idea about the fire of giving people ideas of how to plan for that, and and you almost anything in an emergency, you're going to be less prepared if you try and do something when the emergency is happening. And when I first got on a fire department, when the pager went off, I mean that amount of adrenaline that would flow in, just getting the gear ready to get up to the station and get in the truck and head out. It really clouds your thinking process. And that's why now it's not a big deal, because there's been enough of that practice, et cetera, over and over, where the adrenaline spike, one, is not as bad as it used to be, and you overcome it. So, no, that's not a bad idea. If you can come up with a couple, the house thing was good. If you can come up with a couple other scenarios and go ahead and email that to the our email address, I'll take a look into see if we can get that created into one or more nets. But thank you.
We can almost call that pick an event to plan for kind of topic. And for example, this one would be the house is on fire. Look into the scenario and what we should have and what we should be doing at the moment, walk right through the whole plan.
Yeah, totally. And I'm going to throw in here real quick. We do tape these nets. So everybody has the opportunity to not only listen to the net, which they could actually go on the website and actually see a better presentation of it with more information. But the advantage you get of listening to the net is you get to hear all of this roundtable conversation. And unless there's really a lot of super good stuff, I don't add that to the expanded presentation. So that's another reason to go on our YouTube channel and take a look at not only the expanded presentations, but the roundtable, because people come up with some good ideas, and I don't want those to slip through the cracks. But so anyway, sorry for the interruption.
No, I think you got a good point there. At the beginning of the net tonight, you were bringing up stuff from last week with water and, looking into the water bladder as well as the chlorine maker there. So that was very good. That all spewed from the roundtable conversation last week. So, yeah. Well, Chuck, do we have any other comments or questions tonight? Please go ahead.
I made a good point, Jim did, about the especially being a firefighter and some of them personal breathing apparatuses. My buddies, Florida, when I was down there, they had scuba tanks, and I see now they have like lifelong this and that, these small, portable things that, like women, this and that. You can probably multi-purpose use that. And I know, like, when I used to paintball, you get a scuba tank filled and compressed air, and and you could use that as well. There's multiple options with that. So, good, clean, fresh air is always a good thing. Ventilation, fresh air. But yeah, so it's still good topics. I definitely appreciate it tonight. I don't know if there's more I can really piggyback off right now, but yeah, some good stuff. Yes.
Thanks a lot, Matt. Really appreciate that. Yep. So I agree. I think this was a good topic and brings a lot to think about as well. So I'm very excited about this one. Do we have anybody else that would like to register, though? Please go ahead. Okay, do we have any other comments, questions about tonight's topic? Shelter.
Like I kind of said earlier, I've heard of a few people that went the cheaper route, like I said, with the Conex trailers. Like you use Conex are pretty reasonable and do it yourself. Doing it properly, that might be a different thing. You need your ventilation and this and that. But I mean, they're the ones you buy and have them do it is it's like a second home. It costs just as much as your house almost. And yeah, there is cheaper ways to do that way too, as well, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, you're right there. Um, bunkers are kind of cool. Your suggestion of getting containers. Yeah, that's definitely a way to go. But there are a lot of issues. Your ventilation, your air, your sanitation. There's a mental issue in bunkers because you're cooped up. It's not like you stay in the bunker at nighttime and you get out and go wandering around. The point of going into a bunker is for total protection, and you're going to be staying there. So again, there's a lot of and everything has a good side and a bad side. Every single thing we talk about, there's a positive and a negative to it. And a lot of times you're gonna have to do multiple things so you can have something that where there will be a positive side to everything you do. So anyway,
I want to talk about negatives of a bunker. I'm trying to build one down here in Louisiana.
Yeah, good point, Steve. Yeah, I mean, it's like in Florida, it'd be almost near impossible. We did a job in Orlando, a hospital. We had an underground tunnel in Orlando, which is about above sea level, but not much. And we had constant issues with water leaking in just because you're in Florida. So I understand 100%. That's a good point.
actually here where I am, most of you get much below, you know, ground level. You're hitting decomposed granite and you're hitting granite because we're literally in the mountain. So building something that goes super deep is not as easy. A lot of times dynamite is required to get it done.
Yeah, it's the same here. I'm pretty much in the foothills of the mountains of Tennessee, and I mean, where you're at's even worse than I'm at, but luckily with the clay and some of the rock and stuff, it would be doable. Uh, but at the same time, it's so expensive. Even looking into it just makes me just like gag. It's like, whoa, $200,000 or whatever. And some of that stuff ain't cheap.
Hey, TC, what kind of woes are you having trying to build a bunker right now, buddy?
Well, in more southern states, especially like Louisiana and Florida, it's just so wet. Like a bunch of southern Louisiana is under sea level.
Gotcha. Here in Michigan, we got water and a lot of sand. So, yeah, things tend to cave in on themselves when you try to build bunkers here.
Yeah, it just either rot or rust away if you build a bunker. But yeah, like I say, what talked about last week, all the sitting water with the animals is just the reason why it doesn't drain is because of the type of ground we have, which not everywhere, but where I'm at, there's a bunch of clay, and the water is it's just saturated in the ground. So your bunker might, if it's gonna be something solid like what Matt talked about, a container underground, it might shift around, tilt, settle in the ground, and I wouldn't look too good. and all your ventilation would get messed up.
So that's kind of like we bring up the point, or at least Jim did, and everybody has. You know, each person, each area, each thing is in a different situation. You're gonna have to adapt, like they said, to your own personal preference, your own personal area, personal plan. Not one thing that's gonna work for Jim is gonna work for you or for me or for Red Bear, for that matter. You just gotta adapt to it, and yeah, that's a big learning curve for sure.
And that's the whole point of what we're trying to do here is we're trying to bring topics and things about those topics to get people to do their own research for things that are going to fit them. Because, like you said, what I have to do up here is a lot different. I have to worry about a high water table. I don't have to worry about floods from where I'm at. I don't have to worry about hurricanes, etc. So, so some of the stuff I might say, talking about, okay, minus 20, minus 30 degrees weather, you guys aren't getting that, say, down in the South. But we're trying to provide information just to get people thinking. We're not trying to actually design your emergency plans, but we want everybody to start thinking about, and maybe there's something we say here that you didn't think about that might be a good idea for your situation.
And also, this would be the perfect time to talk about all that stuff. So, yeah, good time to get thinking about it, get talking, get asking questions, talk about what you are doing prepping, So, definitely, I agree.
I know it's kind of based on shelters. I know I've run in the past and stuff, but I really actually enjoy some of these. I got these little like power inverters. I can't even say little, some are pretty good size, 1,000 watts, 1,500 watts, and they use like DeWalt batteries, and I could stack up, some DeWalt batteries and use them. That's something you could use in a temporary shelter, in a permanent shelter that won't give off any like real gases unless the battery's bad or whatever. But I got two DeWalt ones, and I don't use them all the time. I got one in the shed because I don't have permanent power set up out there, so that's gonna permit. But man, they're really handy.
You're right. And of course, anybody that's been coming in every week or most of the time will remember how long was our topic on electricity. It was 21 nets. And that didn't include, and I think it was 4 additional presentations that were much more visual. So I didn't even make them as a radio net, but they were posted. So yeah, the electricity thing, that has been our most complicated thing because there's so many things you can do and there's so much stuff you have to make sure you understand, or things can turn really bad.
Yeah, I agree 100%. They're doing last night. They were actually starting one up on another platform, and they wanted me to kind of help co-host. They started out kind of like you guys did, started with like batteries. And so I helped them out and talked to them because I've been through a lot of the nets with you guys, not all of them, but electricity was a huge one, and I kind of got roped to that per se, and kind of piggybacking off of what you guys had said, and just reaching out and helping other people out there. I appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, I was thinking about that today, Montana Jim, how all these, like you said, this one was going to be 2 nets. I mean, it's going to cover everything because there's not too much to talk about shelter, but all these past few ones look so small compared to electricity.
Yeah, and I originally thought electricity was going to be 4 or 5 until you get into it, and yeah, and quite frankly, to be honest, you're always learning. You're always learning. And I've just done some stuff with my electrical system to get it back into balance. We talked a little bit about that, and that could probably cover another 2 or 3, which I'm not going to do because that's really getting into the weeds. And again, that's not the reason for this is to be an exact how-to. But yes, it is a very complicated thing, and we're going to be doing some other ones on. I think sanitation is next. That's 4 parts. Medical, that's at least 4 parts. So, yeah. Hope I'm not boring you guys with all these things because a lot of people think, well, prepping, I just need to go, get some food, get sleeping bags, some clothes, and some protection, and I'm ready to go. And there's really a lot more to it.
Well, Jim, every day you get up, you're prepping. Stop and think about it. You get up to go to work in the morning. Some people get up and have coffee because they got to wake up and they want that caffeine. They're prepping for their day, drinking their coffee. Some people just get up and go running out the door. Both people get to the door, crap, I forgot my keys. Well, you didn't prep while you were getting dressed and grabbed your car keys, now did you? I'm one of those people. So yeah, you're prepping with everything you do in life for the next step, the next event of your day. So prepping for emergencies, yeah, we pretty much do that now.
I agree 100%. You actually talking about the morning thing. I have my own little routine too. The night before, I'll get my clothes ready. I'll put them on a pile. I got, my socks and shoes right there. And I used to use my hat, but I don't really wear a hat as much anymore. But I have my drawer where I have watch, wallet, keys. Everything's all lined up. Obviously, like 4 or 5 radios that I bring, and my cell phone. And it is a routine, and the routine is part of prepping. As simple as that. Just what you're doing, getting up in the morning. Some people literally just get up. They're just bamboozled. They don't know. Oh, I get my clothes ready. This and that. I take my shower at night. I get my clothes ready. I get my stuff ready, and I could be out the door in like literally 10 minutes. Do my stuff in the bathroom. Blah blah blah. Boom boom boom. Get my clothes on. Grab my stuff. Out the door.
No, that's very, very, very true. And that's sort of one of the reasons why I got into to doing the net was everybody. You're right, absolutely. Everybody preps, but prepping at one point had such a negative connotation, is that we were nut jobs, we were members of militias, we were survivalists, and blah blah. And of course, all of that could possibly be true, but yeah, it's just try to bring to everybody's idea that, you all are doing it and there's nothing wrong there's no downside. I've said this before. I'll say it again. There is zero downside to preparing. And so if you buy a bunch of food stores and nothing bad happens, okay, you now have food on hand that you paid less money for than what you could buy for it now. Same thing with your clothes, et cetera, et cetera. So there's no downside. You lose your job. You don't have to worry about food. You get injured. It's like I said, I cannot find one bad thing except it might take away from me going and playing.
I agree. And even the wife is, into it. You might have a spouse, a wife or, for a woman, husband, or that might think, you're crazy. But then something happens or something might happen and they go, I'm glad you got this stuff. It's like me, like, the 30-year, freeze-dried food, protection, this and that, whatever have you. A lot of people be like, crazy. And I'm like, well, do you have anything? No. Well, what happens if something happens? You better be ready. Better have it, not need it, than need it, not have it. 100%.
Yeah, that's how some people are around my place. We got several survival plans, like not plans, like in our minds or on things that we have stored away and are ready at any moment we need it. And people that see it, they're like, well, what's wrong? Nothing's wrong. Everything's cool. We get our we go to work, we come home, we eat, we drink, we sleep, get our paycheck, we live. So what's the matter? I'm like, well, if something does go wrong, I don't know.
Well, you guys have heard me, even in the presentations, I'll recount, I put some of my plans into place of, okay, there wasn't a catastrophic thing, but, I had water line freeze. I'm on a well. My water line freezes. I have no water. I have no water. I can't flush my toilets, et cetera, et cetera. And even if something as simple as that, it wasn't an apocalyptic thing. It wasn't a big emergency, but it allowed us to get through that. COVID came, didn't have to worry about food, didn't have to worry about the shelves being bare of anything. And so you just never know. That's the thing. That's why you're preparing for an emergency. And you probably look up emergency in the dictionary. It's going to say an unplanned, thing. So, yeah. Again, no downside. We need to talk about it and just think about all the weird things that could happen.
I mean, you're right too. I mean, there really is no downside. I think the only downside, at least for maybe us, would be storage of all this stuff, which luckily we're good enough because, sometimes some of the stuff is kind of bulky, takes up area, room, whatever. But we got cases of water that we've had for 5, 6 years from like the hurricane still, you know what I mean? The bottles kind of get crumpled up. They must still evaporate and whatever have you, but there's really no downside. If you're hurting on money, you spend it wisely. If you're doing okay and you can stock up, stock up. I mean, like COVID, I was working at Walmart when COVID hit, and the toilet paper thing was a nightmare. It was a joke. Luckily, we had like 3, 4 cases of toilet paper, but people were they were fighting over each other over that stuff.
Yeah, speaking of hurricanes, like when hurricanes like Katrina or Laura come through Louisiana, lower places, like I said, especially like New Orleans, so many people die. I mean, now I could understand some of them. It's because they're trapped in their homes and it gets flooded and it's sad. But others, it could be, well, you survived the primary flood. Now you got to deal with the aftermath. Your vehicle might not be working. Your electricity might not be working. You might not have any water besides the still water that the flood came from. All the stores will be closed. That's how the rest of the hundreds die.
Or you might still be sitting on top of your roof waiting for the water to go down.
Exactly.
Yeah, a lot of that was pretty sad, and I know they weren't ready for that. When I lived in Florida for half my life, we always kind of had a plan. We was kind of ready. We knew something was coming. We'd even get like 5-gallon buckets and just fill them with water, just like Jim said, just to flush the toilet. And you're going to be out of power, so gas up the generator, make it on, make sure it's working. That's all part of prepping. And then you got your poor neighbor, doesn't have nothing. I guess whose door he's gonna knock on? My door, and I'm, that's okay. Help your neighbors as well. So, like we all been saying, you never know what's gonna happen, when it's gonna happen. From COVID to hurricanes to tornadoes, natural disasters, earthquakes, whatever. You never know what happens the next day. Better to have it. Just have it. You don't use it, you don't use it. Oh well. But if you need it, you're going to be happy you have it.